In this question, we are required to find the range of this function, which is 1 plus sine x, 2 plus sine x by 2 plus 3 plus sine x by 3 until n, right? So n is some integer. And we also have some restrictions on Sx here, which is belonging from 0 till pi, where both 0 and pi are included. And our options are given in terms of n, right? And we need to find the range of this function. Okay. So now when we have a closer look at our given function, we can see that there is a constant term here and then there is a variable function, right? Which depends on the value of x. So now we have an interesting property of greatest integer which we need to apply here, which says that whenever we have a variable function which is added with an integer function, then we can separate the greatest integer to the variable, and in an integer we can write it separately for all values of I belonging to I, which is just a representation of this property. Even if it would have been x square here, so we would have been written x squared inside this greatest integer function. It doesn't matter. Just we need to separate out the constant integer terms outside the greatest integer. We can do that. We are allowed to do that, right? Okay. So now we are given this big summation in the function, right? So every time while we are solving this function, it would be too tedious to write this long function again and again. So we'll try to find some easy representation of it. We'll try to add. So we see a pattern here, right? So this thing is 1, this thing is 2, and we can write it as x upon 1, x upon 2. So this is a pattern we are seeing here, and we need to find the sum of it, right? They are all adding up. So we need to apply the summation operator. That's also very obvious, right? So let's generalize this function fx. We can write it as summation of a plus sine x by a for all values of a which are belonging to positive integer. Remember why we have added a plus here? Because x is only positive. And not x, sorry, the function which is written inside. And x is belonging from 0 till pi. So we have to keep in mind the interval of x each and every time we solve this question. So now I'm using this identity which I've written previously and separating a with the greatest integer of sine x upon a, right? Then I'm again separating the summation as well, right? I'm opening these brackets and separating the summation term. So now when we have a close look at this first term, we see that it can be written as 1 plus 2 plus 3 and so on till n. Do we already know the result of it? Yes, we know the result of it. It is n into n plus 1 by 2. And if we don't know, we must know, right? It is very basic. Alright. Next part, we'll write it as it is because it's not of our concern. We have simplified this part first. We'll solve step by step, right? Now we'll focus on this thing, right? Okay. Now, while we are solving this, we are given several summations, right? Several quantities which are adding up together, and we need to find the final value. So what was, so I'll again take back to the question. So what happens in such long summation kind of questions? We're always required to find some sort of pattern, right? We need to find some pattern in these questions so that our life becomes easier. So now we see that our summation is starting from a is equal to 1. So we'll substitute, we'll make cases, and we'll make the first case when a is equal to 1. Then this sin x by a becomes sin x. And we know that sin x belongs from 0 till 1 if x varies from 0 till pi, right? Now if somebody is having confusion in learning this interval, then we can simply observe that when x is belonging to 0 till pi, we can easily plot this diagram of sin x, right? If it would have been some different interval, right? For example, 3 pi till 3 pi by 2 or something more complicated, then this result won't be easier to identify, right? Then we would have to draw the graph and then find what is the range of sin x, right? Okay, so I've drawn the graph. This dome-like structure is the graph of sin x from 0 till pi. Okay, But now our work is still not done here. We need to find the greatest integer of sin x. And when we look at the greatest integer of sin x, we see that sin x is taking integer values at pi by 2. It is becoming 1, right? And all the values which are other than other than 1, they are less than 1. And we know that whenever we put a value which is less than 1 in belonging from 0 to 1 inside the greatest integer bracket, we always get 0, right? Because we round it down, right? So finally we find that sin x, greatest integer of sin x is 1 at x is equal to pi by 2, because that is the only possible case where it's obtaining its maximum value, and it is 0 otherwise, right? It is also 0 at the boundary cases, which is 0 and pi, right? So we need to break down the function wherever it is having integer values, right? That's the beauty of greatest integer of function. Next, now we have to find the pattern. So we'll take a as 2, then we have sin x by 2. Now again we are saying that sin x by 2 is belonging from 0 till 1, where x by 2 is belonging from 0 till pi by 2. Now, since we are looking for sin x by 2 here, so we won't look for x, right? We'll divide it by 2 to get the interval of x by 2, right? Okay. But now, okay. So we'll draw again the graph. So this is the graph of sin x by 2, right? So at x is equal to 2 pi, it is becoming 0, right? So now, but our domain is still 0 till pi, right? So this is the part of the graph where we have to focus, right? So now is it showing, is it becoming integer at any other value? Yes, we can see that at x is equal to pi, this function is 1. So we'll define sin x by 2 as 1 at x is equal to pi and 0 otherwise, because after that it is taking values less than 0, right? And when we'll apply greatest integer function, it will round down to 0. Okay. Now we'll take our next case where we'll take a as 3, right? So now sin x by 3 belongs to 0 till 1 for all x by 3, which is belonging from 0 till x pi by 3, right? Okay. So now let's again plot the graph of sin x by 3. Now this is the graph which is a bit elongated, and we can see that this whole thing is not of our use. We only have to focus at our domain of x, right? So we can see that the function is increasing till our domain, but it is not becoming 1 here, right? It is becoming integer at 3 pi by 2, but 3 pi by 2 is greater than our domain, so it is not of our use. That means in this domain, the function is always going to be less than 1, right? That means that sin x by a is going to be 0 for all values greater than 3. Even if I put sin x by 4 here, this graph is going to go till 4 pi, and then the possibility of it becoming 1 is going to further reduce, because pi is going to be somewhere like right here, right? So we can generalize it that after a is equal to 3, our function is always going to remain 0 for all values of a belonging to an integer, right? So now the two conditions that make the sum equal to 2 require different values of x. Okay. Okay, so what does this statement means? That in our previous cases, so in our previous cases, we are getting sin x, greatest integer of sin x as 1 at x is equal to pi by 2, right? And for greatest integer of sin x by 2 to become at 1, we need x to be pi. But our x cannot take two values at one time, right? See, we have a close look here. So so this thing is becoming 1 at separate values of x, right? And which we can substitute one value of x at a single time, right? We cannot substitute both of them. So they require, so that's what this thing is saying, that the two conditions that make sum equal to 2 require different values of x, pi by 2 and pi respectively. So no, there is no single x that can satisfy both at once, right? That means we cannot write. So initially we found the value of first entity as n into n plus 1 by 2. So now we are saying that this is mostly 0, but for value a and 1 and 2, it is becoming 1. But these are also becoming at separate values of x, remember. So we need pi by 2 for one part to become 1 and pi for 2 to for another part to become 1. And both x cannot take both values simultaneously, right? That's not just feasible. That means we'll have, so the fx is going to belong to take two values, right? First is going to be this thing, and secondly, depending on value of whether it takes pi or pi by 2, we will add plus 1 here, right? Depending on our x value. So A's option is going to be the correct option.